Ohio Peace Officer Training Standards.
You see, I'm looking at security as being security. And I'm looking at a resource officer as being more interactive with students and doing some of the things that you're talking about. If I'm talking about security, then I don't want that person there counseling with someone else or what have you, because then something else may be happening over here that deals with high-powered security, and that person should be there. But when I hear you say what you're saying, I'm hearing that you want a person to be able to mentor kids, to be there to respond to them, and I don't hear the focus on security the way, and this may be just my thinking, the way that I see security as someone being at a particular area of going throughout the building, checking things, periodically, almost around the clock while the kids are there, and not just focusing on.
I'm gonna let Julie address that, because she does it in the school, and I'll let her tell you how.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I mean, for the past 13 years I've taught there. And I split my time between the high school, middle school, and teaching there in all the elementaries. And when I was at the high school, middle school, my focus would be on the security, taking care of the kids, checking the classrooms, the exterior doors. I mean, I still do all that. When I get called to the elementaries, I respond. If they have a criminal situation, I take care of it, etc. So, I mean, that's part of our SR. When you go through school resource training, it's combined. Your interaction with the kids and the security. So it's not just individualized, one or the other, it's both together. So, and each DARE officer receives school resource officer training as well.
You're almost thinking of like a patrol person.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, I guess when I hear security.
And the benefit about me being there.
I like the resource
Right.
office aspect, that, that's a great
And the
model,
benefit,
but
like if I get into a situation that's serious, then my backup's not far away. Because I had that in the fall, where I needed backup and they were there within seconds. So it's just, it's a benefit having an actual police officer in there, because they have that contact with the police station and the training that they go through, the tactics, all that kind of stuff, so.
Gene, the school, a lot of, with the state of Ohio, the school resource officer training kind of encompasses all of that. It trains in security to schools, it trains in mentoring kids, it trains in identifying kids that you think are having issues, things of that nature. Because I'm exactly with you, one of the things that excites us the most is the possibility of these kids learning, getting to know police officers at a very young age and building relationship with those police officers at a very young age.
And I understand that, but with all the different types of shootings and things that we have had, I guess I'm seeing security in a different light in terms of that. Yes, a resource officer is excellent and has been, but in view of the fact of all the shootings and what have you, we have it, and with large campuses and what have you, I don't know a thing about this, but I'm just thinking that if you're at the high school and the junior high school, and the campus, the way it's laid out, just one person there for that, I think of security as.
And Dr. Kearney, with these
Indirect.
school shootings, these are planned. If you have a security guard who stays at the front door every day, we know what kind of pattern he is. He's systematic. You can do surveillance on this guy and know he's going to be here or there. With a resource officer the way it is now, you have an officer in that school, you can't plan around him or her because you don't know where they're going to be at that certain time. And that's another aspect of it. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be great to have, the biggest guy or gal that you can find is post him at the front door, and his brother or sister at the back door, and then have a resource officer. But funding's so limited.
Keith, I just have one more question. Going back to that summertime thing. So, as I'm thinking through this, it's the officers who will be the resource officers that have all the time that they can take the whole summer off, basically.
Yes.
But isn't the advantage that we will be hiring 2 new officers? They would be at the lowest steps, so those 2 new officers, they wouldn't be able to take that summer vacation, and that's where the benefit is? Because even if the people we have that would be the resource officers could take that vacation time now, am I thinking about that wrong?
You're right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the only other,
It wouldn't be that the resource officers would necessarily be doing that work in the summer. It would just be that we have 2 additional officers in the summer. Because they're gonna take their vacation, everybody's gonna take vacation.
right.
Right.
And you know, Dustin, I think, if this is something we need to look at as far as the percentages of the split, you know, we need to help pick up some of those benefits, those vacations that are gonna be, you know, happening in the summer. We're more than willing to look at that, absolutely.
I think we could probably get together, maybe in another committee meeting and hash that over a little bit better. We've got our council meeting coming up. I think we've got a lot of great discussion. We've got a lot of stuff to mull over. We could probably try to work on, I'll get with Bruce and see if we could set up another finance committee meeting maybe Monday to try to finally hammer out where we can do what we can do, and maybe in that time we can talk to the school board members and get something. Absolutely.
But you're arranged for this coming, for the coming school year, correct? Resource officer? It's
No.
not in the budget?
No.
It wasn't in your budget?
Only
Officers.
One officer.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, that's what
That
I'm
is-
saying.
yeah.
That's done.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that's just what I want to make sure.
The idea is 2 additional.
And while, you know, do I think there's going to be a problem at a K2 building? Probably not. They didn't think there was going to be a problem in Parkland, Florida either. So we have to take these steps. Schools have to take these steps nowadays.
And having those 3, like we've talked about, gives the ability to swing by Mount Logan on
Absolutely.
occasion, between 2 of the campuses.
Keith and I have talked, it gives them the opportunity when nothing's going on at the K2 to take a walk around the block of the K2 building. Because they're going to be right there. We're looking at purchasing a Mark's radio system to where it's direct contact that, you know, we're working with Keith on our new radio system. And Mark's makes the most sense to where we're just one push button and instant communication. It'll also be a big help with traffic in the mornings at both buildings.
That's a whole different issue right now.
Huh?
That's a whole different issue right
Especially at the beginning. It's going to be,
I can appreciate, that with the school system, as always, I've been in the school system for 40 years, and I'm a school system person. But I just think that when we begin to take resources from the city and take a policeman off the street, that I think that's something that we have to think about in this day and time. Because we have a lot of need for policemen to police our neighborhoods. And, we want our kids safe. I think the school system has to look at their budget and prioritize and see what they can do to get more resource officers in there, and also to look at their grants and see what they can do to help that. Because I'm telling you, as the budget goes on, and we begin to take these, when you're talking about taking 2 policemen officers from the city that we are paying for, that's pretty drastic to me.
Well, and it is your 4th priority on here, it's not his.
Yeah, like
Police officer is your 2nd priority after dispatch.
Right, like I said last week, the mayor mentioned this. The most overtime hours used is in dispatch. We absolutely need dispatch. One dispatcher, single mom, she worked 600 or 700 hours of overtime last year, and a lot of that was involuntary. And I've said this so many times over the last 3 years: if the meth hits Chillicothe like the heroin did, look out. Ladies and gentlemen, the meth is here. We got a kilo last Monday. Okay, you got an officer who was attacked by a guy that was on meth. So, meth is going to be one of our top priorities to get that off the street, because that's bad stuff.
Just one quick question, that $285,000 you said that would come from the general fund, that did not include the $70,000 for a dispatcher, correct? Okay.
That was in
Okay,
addition.
I just wanted to make sure.
Well, we'll conclude this meeting, and as I said, I'll keep you posted. We'll try to come together again one more time and knock some of these issues out once we have some time to think them over. And I appreciate everyone coming in and talking to us. And that'll conclude our Finance Committee meeting.
I did turn so our home audience could know what was going on while we were running late.
Thank you.
And thank you
very much.
Thanks a lot.
We want the sound there towards the end when we had conversations. That's the home audience, that's what you were hearing. We had a committee meeting that ran over discussing some more police people, officers here in town and desk use. So, with that being said, we are going to start our city council meeting tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, council members, city officials, and our home audience, welcome you to the July 9th city council meeting. Tonight we have 5 items on our agenda. Mr. Fawson, at any time you like, please give us a roll call of the members.
Corcoran.
Here.
Fairchild. Florima. Here. Hines. Here. Kearney.
Here.
Neal.
Here.
Patrick. Kroll.
Here.
Chapman. Here.
At this time, we have some members that need to be excused. Who would like to initiate that? Mr. Florima?
Motion to excuse council members Fairchild and Patrick.
Seconded by Mr. Hines. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima. Yes. Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Chapman. Yes.
And we have excused Ms. Patrick and Ms. Fairchild this evening. If everybody would at this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, the minutes of the previous meeting have been distributed for review. Does anybody have any corrections to the minutes, or do we have a motion to accept the minutes as they are?
Motion to accept.
Ms. Neal, accept the motion to accept, seconded by Mr. Florima. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima. Yes. Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Chapman. Yes.
And we have accepted the minutes from the previous meeting. At this time, I'll do my best with the camera. It's still kind of going wonky. We'll have our committee reports. The one table want to go first. How about over here, Mr. Tapp?
Thank you, President Arnold. Engineering Committee has 2 items up for a third read tonight, but at this time I'd like to make a motion not to read number 1 and number 2.
Second.
I have a motion not to read number 1 and number 2, seconded by Mr. Florina. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florima. Yes. Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes. Also, I had planned on having a meeting concerning 2nd Street next Monday, but they are working on counting cars going through that intersection.
How long is that study?
Yeah, I don't know, that's a good question.
Okay.
But they're going to try to figure out what the car count is going through that intersection, 2nd and Paint, because we're considering stop signs instead of stoplight, which would save us a considerable amount of money. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Tappan. Any other committee reports? Mr. Kroll?
Finance Committee has 2 items on tonight's agenda. Item number 3, which is its second read, which is to appropriate $2,500 for the City Council advertising expenses. These are for things like posting notices of the public hearings. At the appropriate time, I will ask that we waive the 3-read rule so that we can pay these bills. The second item that we have is item number 5, which is a resolution to adopt the tax budget for the City of Chillicothe, Ohio for the calendar year beginning January 1st of 2019, submitting the same to the county auditor. And at the appropriate time, I will ask that we waive the 3-read rule because this is time sensitive as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Anybody else? Yes, Ms. Smith.
Development Committee has one item, number 4 on the agenda. It's to amend sections 71703 and 71705 of the codified ordinances, and those both deal with peddlers and food carts, amending the fees and adding a couple of identification items to those. It's also adding codified ordinance 726, and that has to deal with the new food truck legislation. This is on the second read, and it will go all 3 reads. Also, Development Committee has item 18066, or assignment 18066, to appropriate $4,752 from a payoff on a chip mortgage, and assignment 18067 to appropriate $4,104 as a payoff on a chip mortgage. And those items are both at the law director and should be on the next agenda. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any other reports this evening? Updates on current projects? Yes, Mr. Cole.
I do have another item that I want to mention. The mayor has asked that we enter into an executive session at some point this evening to discuss contract negotiations and pending legislation. Pending litigation and contract negotiations. So usually we do that after our legislation. So just wanted to let you know I'll be making a motion at that time.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Any other reports? Not seeing any. We'll move to reports of our officials. Our mayor, Mr. Luke Feeney.
Thank you, President Arnold. Keep it brief tonight in the interest of our heat. I just want to thank everybody who came out and supported the 4th of July fireworks display last Wednesday. In the 3 years I've been mayor and down to that city pool party, I think it was by far the most people that we've had. Really a beautiful night. Thank you to the club that puts on the display, all the folks that donate and really make it possible. I think it's a great display. The park, the lake, everything down there just looks really nice right now. So thanks for everybody who participated. And then the only other item I have is that the bid packet went out. A bid has been awarded for paving, and so we should be seeing some action on that pretty soon. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Feeney. Our auditor, Ms. Spetnagle.
I just have one item on the agenda, that's item number 5, to adopt the tax budget for 2019. That's something that has to be passed by July 15th, so I ask for your support for that.
Thank you. And our law director, Ms. Rutherford.
Thank you, President Arnold. I have nothing on the agenda and nothing to report.
Okay, good. I don't have anything to report either this evening. That moves us on to audience participation. Do we have anybody in the audience this evening that would like to speak? We do have a Rule 21 that limits each speaker to a 5-minute presentation. Anybody out there who would like to say anything? Not seeing so, then we move into old business. Anybody have any old business they'd like to bring up? Yes, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, I'd just like to remind parents out there that we are still continuing Art in the Park, and this Thursday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., we're going to have a nature walk that will be led by Ann Bonner with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Forestry, and that will be held at the Millennium Grove that is out behind Roosters and the Quality Inn. You just go down North Plaza and you'll see a sign, and it should be really interesting, and actually, if some adults would like to come, we'd like to have them also. So that will be this Thursday, and then we'll be continuing them, and you can look at our Art in the Park on the City of Chillicothe's Facebook page for information. So we'd love to have people come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anybody else have any old business they'd like to bring up? I've not seen any petitions and correspondence received by the clerk.
Mr. President, I do not have any. However, Mrs. Neal, on item number 4, I just wanted to mention that 726, I think, is a new chapter. And before that ordinance is passed, you might want to clarify that by calling it chapter 726. It's
Okay,
a new chapter of the Colorado Park ordinance,
okay.
with a number of separate ordinances. That's all I have.
All right. Moving on to new business. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to bring up? All right. Committee assignments and meeting dates. Ms. Neal already mentioned two of the assignments that I've given out since last time. 18065 Finance Committee. That's on tonight. Request for legislation to adopt a tax budget for the city for 2019. And then she already, Ms. Neal mentioned the legislation to accept and appropriate $4,752 for a payoff on the CHIP mortgage, and also to accept and appropriate $4,104 on another mortgage payoff for a CHIP mortgage. And that's all we've had since our last meeting. Meetings next Monday at 6:30 here. Our fire chief, Mr. Creed, wants us to have we're going to have a meeting to review the CAP, I believe it's CAP communication system. That is the new improved communication system. He will have somebody to come in here and give us a presentation, I believe, on it. And that will be the off Monday, next Monday, 16th here at 6:30. If you want to also have a finance meeting in conjunction with that, Mr. Cole, I'll find out from him how long his will last, and we'll try, if you want to do that,
Piggyback it.
we can piggyback it if you want. We'll get together on that. If nothing else, anybody has anything else to add, we'll move into legislation. We have 5 items. First, number 1 and 2, we will not reading this evening, so we will move on to item number 3.
Second reading of an ordinance appropriating $2,500 for city council advertising expenses and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Yeah, at this time, I'd like to ask to waive the 3-read rule.
Mr. Prohl has a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Ms. Corcoran. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Roll call on the legislation.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that legislation has passed. Item number 4.
Second reading of an ordinance amending sections 717.03 and 717.05 of the codified ordinances of the City of Chillicothe, Ohio, adding codified ordinance 726 to the codified ordinances and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
And that will move on to the next meeting. And item number 5.
First reading of a resolution adopting the tax budget for the city of Chillicothe, Ohio for the calendar year beginning January 1, 2019, submitting the same to the county auditor and declaring an emergency. First reading.
At this time, I'd like to please ask that we waive the three-read rule.
We have a motion to waive the three-read rule, seconded by Ms. Kearney. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And roll call on the legislation.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
And that resolution has passed. Mr. Kroll?
At this time, I would request to make, or I'd like to make a motion that we enter executive session to discuss contract negotiations and pending litigation.
Second.
That's seconded by Mr. Florina. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Tatman.
Yes.
We are in executive session. We will then, shall return. Hot room.
Yes, our engineering department. And I think it's a good idea. I think what we're gonna end up doing is stop signs. That's gonna save. It's gonna save over $100,000. But he's also doing traffic count that's all there in the water, because that's really a big issue. Of course, everybody thinks the water's in it too. Yeah. It's gonna get that down where it's not gonna be. That's what we want. That's okay. Yes, sir. No worries. We just lost this, sir.
I was gonna say, if everybody leaves, we got
Two studies about that. And
it's cool or also.
well, see, that's the reason why I'm glad he's doing this study, because we put stop signs and it's gonna save us money. Well, I know, but you were one way. I'd like stop signs, leave it one way, without the stop signs. I don't want that. I'm not in favor. I'm gonna push into this. Oh, they go up my mind. Somebody got pushed into it. I tell you what, I make a point of asking people, what do you think about this place? Well, I agree with you 100%. I would rather keep it the way it is, but it's working because I'm getting the pressure from who I'm getting it from.
Well, from the down,
And they do it, and they do it on my committee. I
Well,
got
it's a suicide committee.
and I got the sidewalks, the streetscape. Yeah.
Well, take care, buddy. Good luck. Yeah. Everybody said, forget this. We're not waiting on you fools.
Yeah, see, here's like, get to like,
Yeah.
8 or something. So they would need it quick.
Yeah, the only thing I missed about those chairs we had,
I mean, I don't know.
I had my spring, so it's just cracked.
Stop it.
It's cooler in here than it did when we walked out.
I mean, a few people go on the high route. I just 4 hours.
Wow. Hitch back hour, but I am.
You watch the Alpha Hitchcock out.
I used to reruns.
It's all at 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
What channel?
BTV.
Oh, yeah.
After Perry Mason.
You got Perry Mason till 12:30, you got Twilight Zone going on, and then Alfred Hitchcock.
When my mother-in-law was going through stuff at Liberty's back, I
Yes,
used to go and sit there and watch
Turn the sound's on, sound's back on. Do we have a motion to come back in from executive session by Mr.
Second.
Cole? Seconded by Mr. Farina. Roll call on the motion to come out of executive session.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
And if nobody has anything to add, do we have a motion to adjourn by
So
Mr.
moved.
Farina and seconded by
Somebody wants to go.
Ms. Corcoran. Roll call on that motion.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Florina.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Neal.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
That almost looked like what's my line? We're adjourned, folks. Have a good evening.